Hello YouTube, hello Twitch. Very special moment right now. I was sent a early copy of a demo for a game called Herald of the Mists. Apparently this is a text-based like dark fantasy game that is very similar to the Roadwarden, which was a game I played like a year or two ago. That game was fantastic, so you've created a very high bar for yourself, that's all I'm saying. But I was kindly given a code by the developer, from Nikki, I believe is the team. And this game comes out on I think the 21st, the demo at least comes out on the 21st, but I have a sneak peek early access to have a look at the demo. I don't really know anything beyond like the title or the setting of it, or exactly what the game is. All I've done is boot up the game, check that I could, go into the start menu and start a game, and that is it. That's all I've done so. Not sure how long the demo's going to go for, but we'll go for an hour or so at the very least. Anyway, without further ado, let's get down to business. Diego of the Mist started a rebellion for the third time. Determined to end his defiance, the Queen dispatched her army, led by Kai the Written, into the Mists. No one has heard from the army ever since. The Queen has tasked you with uncovering the fate of her lost forces. What is your name? Is this, of course. Wait, can I not capitalize that, or did I not? Oh, you can't capitalize it. I just didn't push the shift key. By the way, I don't know where the best place for the camera is yet, or if there is a best place for the camera. I'll try and be cognizant to move it so it's not in the way. Okay, we have attribute points, 2 of them. Oh, is this like a fighting fantasy type game? Because, again, I'm all about that lifestyle as well. You pick some items, you pick some stats, you go into it, you roll some dice, and eventually you realize you missed, like, the golden feather that defeats the dragon 18, pages ago. And you're screwed. So what do I want to have? Honestly, I'd like to have more will to carry on. Not that into this game, but I've had a rough couple of days, let me put it that way, in real life. And I think also, let's have a bit of strength as well. Let's not all in on one of the stat lines. Then, what items do you want? Sword one-handed requires strength 1 and does 2 damage. Two-handed longsword requires 2 strength, so we can't take that, but does 3 damage. The bow requires 2 dex. Just some arrows. It'd be really awkward if you took the arrow, I guess. Sorry, the bow without the arrows, or vice versa, actually. A dagger, which requires some dex. Again, I'm not going to take that. Leather armor, which is just plus armor. Potion. Mana potion. Oh, and you can take some spell books. Requires will and circle 1. What is circle 1? I guess we could check one of these out and see what the circle requirement is. I could also take Spellbook of Ray, which is plus 2, 2 plus damage even, but needs will 2. Summon a lockpick. Oh, I'm gonna be honest with you, I said don't all in one stat. I'm taking it back. Let's all in one stat, because, man, some of this sounds pretty cool. Being like some sort of sneaky wizard with a lockpick, I can kind of, get behind that. So let me try and take this. Oh, do I need to take this? Yeah, I think this is what I need to take. This is the circle requirement, so we'll take that. Then I'm going to take Spellbook of Ray. And do I want to grab a mana potion or a health potion, do we think? I think we're going to want a mana potion, because I'm probably going to be spamming Spellbook of Ray. The Let's Play guy, question mark? Anyway, 1 skill, finish. Finish? Finish, we're fine. Mountain Pass. The colour of the Ascendant's throne, a set of 9 moons in the sky, turns blue, marking the beginning of the 3rd month of the year, and also the beginning of your journey. Standing atop the mountain pass and gazing at your destination, you understand why this place is called the Mists. The entire region is shrouded in a thick veil of fog, so dense that even the light of the throne cannot pierce it. Through the veil, the only things you can make out are dark silhouettes of nearby trees and a tower rising on the horizon. It's late, I need to rest before continuing my journey. Also on this left bar, we can see our stat line, as we've just, attributed it. I have 15 health, 15 mana, 8 armor as well, 50 coins. Again, until we know what the exchange rate is, I don't know if this buys me a house or an ice cream. And I've got 1 circle, which I think is what I need to cast my spells. 10 rations, a couple of apples, delicious. Gonna say though, apples, golden delicious, you've really gone downhill over the last 10 or so years. Red delicious though, if you get a sweet, crunchy red delicious, oh, that hits the snack spot. That's all I'm gonna say. My 2 spell books. I'm going to assume this is the backpack, which gives me all these slots, and the mana potions. Okay, let's have a rest. You walk down the pass and look for a place to camp. Before you find a suitable spot, your eyes catch a faint light flickering a short distance away. The fog prevents you from seeing the source of the light. It might be another person setting up camp, but as far as you know, there's no one living up this far. There is only one way to find out. I walk directly towards the light. Don't do this, people. If you're in real life, if you see the light, don't walk towards it. Dex roll, 7, 58%. Oh, it's nice, it works out the math, so I'm going to assume I have to roll, I guess I could do the math on this, but I'm going to assume it's like a D12? There or thereabouts. And that's my chance to succeed it. It could be something dangerous. I better approach without making a sound, so I can sneak up to it. Then I have camp and leave as actions on the left side. Okay, let's roll the dice. A double? I think I should get a bonus for this. Roll successful. Using the fog to your advantage, you carefully approach the source of the light. As you get closer, it becomes more obvious that it's a campfire. You stop at a safe distance and you see a hooded figure resting by the big fire. The figure sits on a tree trunk and extends one hand towards the fire, a long sword leaning on their shoulder with its tip on the ground. The figure doesn't seem to notice you. We can observe the figure for a while or approach without making any sort of movements. I make it clear that I don't mean any harm. Hi, I was just looking for somewhere to rest. May I join you? Dude, we don't scare this guy. He's not seen me. I've kind of snuck up to him already. He's going to think he's under assault if I just, observe him for a while. He's not going to trust me. We need to make this an equal relationship. I could have, to the throat, but I didn't, because I want to be friends with you. We're going to approach without making any sort of movements, and make it clear we mean no harm. The moment you step out from the fog, the figure startles, swiftly reaching for the hilt of the sword resting on their shoulder. Stay where you are, the figure warns. From the voice, you understand the figure is a woman. Whoops. Don't take another step. I don't move. The figure scans you from head to toe, trying to figure out if you're dangerous. Who might you be? The truth, I'm Andalono. I'm the Herald of the Queen. I come from Garter. Telling the truth might be dangerous. I'm just a traveler from Garter. The name's Andalono. I'm all in on the truth. I'm a very trusting individual. She moves her head in surprise when she hears the Queen. That's so, she says in a soft voice. I am Maya. Unlike you, I'm leaving the miss. I'm going to Gart. She makes a hand gesture for you to sit. What's the Herald of the Queen doing here? When you sit across, you examine Maya. Some of her black hair peeks out from her hood, partially obscuring her face. The remaining portion appears quite dirty. Her eyes are light blue, like the Ascendant's throne in the sky. Oh, interesting. You can actually hover over these coloured things, and it gives you a little bit of knowledge about it. Okay, I'll do that in a minute. Her gaze is stern, and her shoulders broad, and you realise she's missing her right arm. Ooh, owie. So Gart is also known as the First Corner. It is Barang's first and wealthiest settlement. It is considered the capital of Barang, and nearly all trade flows through the city. The Queen's magnificent palace even, it's also a magnificent place, but it's a palace, is also located here, featuring 9 towers, each representing one of the moons. Man, 9 moons? You're gonna have one hell of a tide. The Ascendant's throne, the 9 moons in the sky, each one is a different size and changes colour every month. To end the war with the Second Corner and unite all of Barang, Kyrakin ascended to the largest of them and made all 9 moons his throne. Right, I've come to find out what happened to the Lost Army. Maya's eyes twitches when she hears the army. I see. You might know something about the army. Do you know what happened to the Lost Army? Why are you leaving the Mists? What can you tell me about the Mists? I think I want to inquire more. I could learn more about her, I suppose, but in this instance, you know, her eye twitches. Do you know anything about it? No, she says in a dismissing question. They passed by the outskirts of my town years ago. Haven't seen them again. You feel like she's lying. That's what you get for the +2 will. I've heard some rumours, though. What kind of rumours? Or where was your town? I'll probably investigate there if the army passed by. Yeah, I think we'll investigate. Actually, hang on a minute. I'm asking a woman I don't know where she lives. That gets me put on a list. What kind of rumours have you heard about? Her blue eyes watch the dancing flames for a moment before turning to you. They say the army betrayed the queen, she quietly responds, and Kai now serves Diego instead. She pauses for a second. I can say that much at least. Nonsense, Kai's the queen's most loyal soldier. I know, Maya smiles faintly, realizing the absurdity of what she's saying. Mists carry all sorts of nonsense around. Her smile fades. Sometimes they even make you believe in it. Where was your town? I'll probably investigate there if the army passed by, or I return to other questions. Okay. We've got to know her at this point, right? Where were you from? It is in the west of the 5th corner, about 3 days' walk away, called Cloud Fishers. Not too far from here either. Follow the northern road after crossing the pass, she advises. A rather small town, but it is safe. Aha! Until I get there, I imagine. Okay, so west of the 5th corner, 3 days' walk away. Follow the northern road. Looking into the memory, I don't know if I actually have to remember this information. I return to other questions. Maya tilts her head from side to side, watching the fire as she waits for your next question. Why are you leaving the Mists? Maya takes a moment before responding. There's nothing left for me in here. She stretches her legs, extending them forwards. I used to be a mercenary, but things changed when I lost my sword hand. She indicates her missing arm with a remaining arm. Okay. I have to build a new life for myself. I believe Gart will offer good opportunities. How did you lose it? Well, Gart is a big city. I'm sure you'll find something to do there. Especially if you're following the teachings of Karakian and his daughter. I mean, this might be like, you know, a sore subject, but I guess she's kind of invited me to go there. She's like gesticulated, you know, look at the arm. A small, melancholic smile spreads across her face. I undertook a difficult task that was beyond my capabilities and paid the price. She pauses. I can say that much, at least. I'd prefer you to say more, honestly, but I guess you'll leave me hanging. Why did you undertake it if it was so difficult? And Garty's a big city. Okay, we've seen this one. So why did you do it if it was so hard? Anything worth doing is difficult. Alright, I'm sure you'll find something. I do. I'm a member of the Church of the Family. She raises her hand to her face in a graceful motion. Then she directs it towards the Ascendant's throne. Traditionally, this gesture means alliance to the Queen when performed with the left hand, to Kraken with the right hand, and to both when using both hands. Which one was she missing again? So she can't do it to Karakin anymore, right? Or Kyrak? Yeah, Karakin. Because she lost the right one, right? I'm guessing you are too, since you are a Herald. Okay, so the Church of the Family. They worship both Karakin and Nyantara, and argue that the two cannot be worshipped separately. The majority of the population is part of this church. Okay. That's good intel. The greatest reward for them is to become part of the Holy Family. Serving them and strengthening their rulings are their primary duties. And we saw this before? Yes, we did. Oh, we didn't see Karakin, though. Karakin the Ascendant. With his wisdom, he became the leader of the survivors, and with his immortality, their god. To resolve the challenges wrought by the Second Corner, and to unite all Barang, he ascended to the 9 moons, leaving the governance of Barang to his daughter, Nyantara. From his throne on the moon, he continued to watch. Twice he has descended from his station, first to cure the plague that suffocated Barang, and second to defend his daughter against the treacherous Diego. God damn that Diego. Yes, I'm also a member of the Church of the Family. I mimic the same hand gesture with both my hands. Hold on. I want to do it in such a way that it isn't seem, offensive. It's not like I'm doing it, especially, with the right hand or anything. I want to make it very clear that I'm doing this in the religious context. Actually, no, I'm a member of the Church of the Ascendant. The Ascendant is the singular and true God. Again, a bit spicy. I bring my right hand to my face and slowly extend it towards the throne. Actually, no, I'm a member of the Church of the Daughter. I don't refuse Ascendant's holiness, but I only follow the Queen's teachings. I bring my left hand to my face and slowly extend it towards the moon. And the final one is a will roll, which I've only got a 3% chance to do, apparently. Frankly, I do not follow the teachings of any church. I've seen the Queen up close many times. She has a sacred aura, that's for sure. I was wondering where we were going. But that's not enough for me to worship her or the Ascendant. I'm not sure about my beliefs yet. Okay, so I guess this is like how I build my character, right? You know what? I can be about both of these guys. I'm kind of imagining it to, praise the sun type thing, that type of motion. Or is it? Raise the hand to the face in a graceful motion, and I direct it towards the throne. So I guess it's like this action I'm doing. Yeah, I'll do it with both my hands. Graciously. It's nice to encounter someone who shares the same beliefs. As your journey progresses, you'll realize how rare that is. Uh-oh. Cheery marks. May the Ascendant's throne light your path. So I guess I've now railed my character into being I need to check what I was. I'm of like the super church, right? Maya tilts her head from side to side, watching the fire as she waits for your next question. What can you tell me about the mists? She sniffs, tossing a twig onto the fire before responding. It's nothing like Gart. I can say that much, at least. She says this a lot. People are cold and distant. Most worship the Ascendant, but they're not fond of the Queen, though the Written managed to change that a bit. Do I know what the Written is yet? I guess I don't have any text for that. Okay. Oh, and actually the Ascendant is Karakin. Okay, Karakin the Ascendant. Again, that's good intel. Kai the Written is the Queen's most esteemed general and a folk hero. He played a significant role in the defeat of Diego of the Mists, strengthening the Queen's rule. Unfortunately disappeared along with the army. Diego of the Mists, he's also known as Diego the Betrayer. He was among the first tribes to settle in the Mists. Seeking to take advantage of Gart's weakness during the epidemic, he declared war on the Queen. However, he was prevented by the Ascendant himself, who descended from his throne. He's renowned for his compelling charisma, masterful persuasion, and the uncanny ability to incite rebellion, even among the most loyal devotees of the Ascendant and the Queen. He has 3 children. The fate of the first is unknown, the second is Glenn, and the third is Celine. One of these is less fantastical than the other one. I'll leave that for you to decide, though. The 5th corner still supports the Queen. I can't say the same for the Mist Dwellers and the Liberated. The 5th corner is Brang's 5th and the Mist's first official settlement. It was founded by Oswald Laren. Man, there's a lot of lore in here. A devoted follower of both Karakin and his daughter. Even long after his death, Laren's steadfast loyalty continues to echo through the 5th corner, a place that has resisted all involvement in the rebellions of the Mist. I guess we'll check the Mist Dwellers as well. One of the major settlements of the Mist, founded by Diego the Betrayer. Okay. He unified all the scattered clans and rebelled against the Queen 3 times. 3 times lucky. After Diego's imprisonment, Mist Dwellers came under the rule of the equally cunning son, Glenn. Doubt. Liberated. The pagans of the Mists. They recognize neither God nor law. They raid other settlements and spread chaos. Their leader is Diego's insane daughter, Celine. Wow, okay. So Mist Dwellers are Glenn, who is son of Diego the Mist. Diego is a traitor to the Queen. And I am, like, the Queen's right hand, or whatever it said. And the Liberated are Looney Tunes from Celine. Okay. Need to know this. I can also ask more information. What can you tell me about the 5th corner, I suppose? It's governed by Verena, who still supports the Queen, Maya explains. It was the only tribe in the Mist that didn't involve in the uprisings of Diego. It is also the most populous tribe because it is the safest. Verena tries to enforce the laws as much as possible in accordance with Gart standards. It will be the safest place for you too, if that's what you're looking for. Mist Dwellers? It's governed by Glenn, the second son of Diego. Not as bright as his father, but still a cunning leader. He is a pawn of his father, even though he claims otherwise. He's been doing a good job turning people against the Queen. Like his father, he worships the Ascendant, and thinks the Queen is a fraud. I've heard they've been struggling recently, though. I don't know why. Maya pauses, sorry. I can say that much at least. Again, you say that much at least a lot. It should actually be, I can say that much a lot. What about the Liberated, and those Looney Tunes of Selene? It's ruled by a mad woman named Selene, daughter of Diego. Maya can't hide a hatred, as she says, Selene. It's ruled by a mad woman named Selene. That's how she said it. They are pagans, not part of any church or belief. That's why they call themselves the Liberated. They don't follow any laws or rules. Their camps is a total madhouse. I would stay away from there if I were you. Have you been to Gart before? It feels a bit, of cool down from the topic. A long time ago. You wait for her to give more detail, but the woman offers no further information. Is that all she can tell me? Maya tilts her head from side to side, watching the fire as she waits for your next question. Anything else you can tell me about the mists? Maya picks up another twig to play with the fire. Let me share something not many people are aware of. Her eyes shift from the flames to you. Animals. What, the Ricky Gervais skit? She adds in a somewhat subdued tone. I don't know if it's just me, but here, the animals seem much more intelligent than those in Gart. What do you mean? For a moment, she becomes lost in thought. Sometimes they watch you. She almost whispers as she's afraid the birds will hear her. They just stop and watch with a strange, thoughtful look on their face. She pauses. I can say that much, at least. She says it a lot. It's probably just my paranoia. I say thanks for the information. Now you tell me, what news do you bring from Gart? You detect a hint of longing in Maya's voice when she mentions the place. Despite the war, the loss of the army, and all of their adversities, the city remains stronger than ever. Queen Nayantara has already formed a new army and dispelled suspicions among the corners. Or frankly, the city's in a tough spot. The disappearance of the army in Kai has understandably stirred up an unrest amongst the people in the corners. No, God damn it, Queen Nayantara, she's strong. She's a strong leader. Nice to hear that. Honestly, the recent events, Diego's escape and the army's disappearance, have made me anxious about the possibility of another dissension. Since Kyrakan, the Ascendant, moved to the throne and handed the rule to his daughter, he's descended twice. We've seen this already. So one was to shield Gart from the Mist Uprising, that was the war, and the first one was to deal with the plague. During each dissension, the Ascendant's throne turns blood red. Floods sweep across the shores and mountains tremble. I told you! 9 moons, the tides are going to be mental. The main goal of the Church of the Ascendant, is that what I said I was a part of? I think it is to prevent the next dissension. We're hoping that this doesn't happen, or considering the Queen's current path, it feels like an unavoidable outcome, regardless of the Church of Ascendant's efforts. No, I hope it doesn't happen. Maya nods thoughtfully. She looks at the throne as if to make sure it's not red. I guess we'll see. It's getting late, you better not get some sleep before the morning. I nod. Can I spend the night here? Please do. It's always safer to spend the night with someone in the mists. Before she starts trying to sleep, Maria... Why do I keep calling her Maria now? Maya looks at her sword leaning on her shoulder for a moment. You must have some coin. Are you the Queen? You are the Queen's Herald after all. Would you like to buy my sword? She pulls the sword slightly out of its sheath, revealing the gleam of the metal. It's of high quality. I have no use for it in Gart, especially since I lost my arm and I can't wield it. I'm sure it'd be more useful to you. I can give you a good deal. Let's examine this. I'm honestly not against the idea of being some sort of spell warrior type character. Man, aren't they a cool concept in D&D? Like, I like being a warrior. I like, bonking people in the head with like an axe or something, or a hammer. But man, being someone holding like a spell, like spiritual weapon type thing, that is super cool. It takes the level up from being like, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, to 10 out of 10. Let's examine the sword. The craftsmanship of the sword does indeed look impressive. Despite its size, it doesn't look overly heavy. The leather-clad scabbard and the hilt feature silver engravings. Okay, so it has some value in silverweight. It's evident that it's been well maintained, as the steel remains shiny and the edge sharp. But where did she get this kind of sword? Where did you get this? It was my brother's sword. You don't need to know any more details, she said with a touch of finality in her voice. How much do you want for it? 30 coins? Are you crazy? 30? That's too much. Make it 20. I don't need it, but I'll take it anyway. I rolled snake eyes? I can't believe it. Alright, I'll do it. Since I've upset you, sorry that's not enough. Sure, 30. Not quite how I wanted to haggle, but... Great. Although Maya has handed you the sword, her eyes remain fixed on it, as if she might reconsider and snatch it back at any moment. Instead, she silently offers you a blanket, then lies down beside the tree stump where she'd been sitting, pulling a blanket over herself. I do the same. I'm hoping this is kind of like the sword from The Hobbit, where like the blade is going to start glowing when there's like gobos around or something. That's what I'm hoping I purchase here. And not just like a dud of a blade. It turns out it's not actually real silver, it's silver plating. Before closing your eyes, you gaze into the sky, observing the mist-shrouded stars and the Ascendant's throne. You think about the mists, the army, and your mission. Success in your mission means gaining the Queen's favour. Gaining the Queen's favour means a comfortable life and a special place at the Ascendant's throne after death. But is that what you want? This kind of reminds me of how and actually the developer said this, that there's similarities in this between this game and the Roadwarden. In the Roadwarden, you just set out to make money, right? That's like your main job. And you can do all these things and like become the hero of the lands. But I remember in that playthrough for me, I ended up with like, I've made a decent sum of money. I think now we end. I could push out and try and save more people, but I've made my money. That's what I want my character to do. So I like this idea that, again, what do you want your adventure to be? You pick it, you try and do it, and maybe you cash out early if you don't quite, have the tools to do it. So what do we want? I want to spread the Queen's wisdom and majesty across the mists. I want to bring peace between the mists and Gart. I want to explore the mist and uncover its mysteries, including the fate of the army. I want to embark on an exciting adventure. That seems the most childish one here. I want to be someone like Kai, whose actions will echo and be remembered forever. I don't know what I want to do yet. Well, the last one is the real answer for me, but I think we were sent outright to look for the army, correct? So I think we want to explore the mist and uncover the mysteries, including the fate of the army. As you watch the mist gradually grow thick enough to blanket the throne, your eyes begin to heavy with the weight of sleep. I close my eyes. You wake up in the morning with the mist clearing. Your body's aching from the hard ground, but you feel reasonably rested. The fire has long since gone out and Maya has already left. Please, my sword. I still have it, right? I do, it's in my inventory. But you're not alone. In the trunk where Maya was sitting, 3 men are now seated, each of them wearing dark green armour, with long capes touching the ground. The man in the middle has long black hair, and is busy sharpening a piece of wood with a knife. The bald one to his left is munching on something, and a hooded figure to his right is just watching you. Good morning, says the guy eyeing you. The others shift their focus to you. We got a bit worried you might not wake up. You sense trouble. I sit up without any sort of movements. Who are you? We are the Knights of the Mists, says the man in the middle with a gruff voice. Sorry, we are the Knights of the Mists. His pitch black hair falls down to his shoulders, his face clean shaven. You've heard of the Knights of the Mist before. They were law forces in the Mist, initially loyal to Diego, until Kai the Written won their allegiance. Actually, I can see Kai the Written this time. So he's known as the Queen's most favourable and loyal warrior. Kai's fate was written by the Queen long before his birth, hence he was earned the moniker the Written. Trained as a soldier, he led the Queen's army in numerous battles. He's renowned for his generosity, humility, diligence, and superior tactical acumen. Just imagine he's like me. During the Mist's second uprising, he not only defeated Diego's invincible army, Knights of the Mist, but he also became their leader. He transformed into a hero among the people, strengthening the Queen's rule through Barang. Oh, how do I scroll this down? Because there is more, I think. Or they've accidentally ended in a comma and not full stop. I'm gonna believe there's a typo. Again, it's like the first version of a demo. there's going to be some small errors here and there. The man gestures with his knife towards himself. Name's Vol. Then he points to the bald man. This one's Fury. Then he points to the right. This one's Bulk. Turns back to you. And you? I'm Andalono. Nice to meet you. What the hell are you doing here, Andalono? I'm coming from Garth. I was sent by the Queen herself to investigate the Lost Army. That's none of your business. I think we need to be careful with these guys. Didn't he just say they were previously serving allegiance to Diego? I think we say it's not your business. We're just, we're men traveling through the mists. We all have our own secrets. So be it, Vol says. Then he changes the subject. We're looking for a woman about average height, blue eyes, and a missing arm. And we think you might just know where this lady is. She usually introduces herself as Maya. Why are you looking for her? I don't want to get involved in trouble. I tell the truth. Yes, I met her last night. She told me she was going to Gart. I should not tell them about the sword. These guys will probably kill Maya. I shouldn't tell them the truth. I've never seen such a woman. What do I gain by helping you? Or, yes, I met her. I can tell you where she's headed, but you are going to answer a couple of my questions first. Oh my god, this is a good one. This is a good one. I think the character I'm slowly building through all of this wouldn't rat her out. I think they would lie to protect the woman. Even though I don't fully know her. Not like I know these guys anyway, but one of them's called Fury, right? It's probably not a kind guy, right, with the name Fury. I don't know. Maybe that's what he was called at birth. Maybe he can't help it. Maybe he's a very kind person. He likes flower arranging. But I feel like Fury's a name he's given himself. I've never seen such a woman. Well then, how the hell do you have a sword? Vol points to Maya's sword. I was hoping we'd hide it. You got me. Yes, I met her last night. She told me she was going to Gart. I found it in the forest. I've got this incredibly strong gut feeling that you're bullshitted. Vol motions towards the hilt of his sword. Come clean and save us the hassle. The woman's a murderer. There's no point in protecting her. No. I don't want to get involved in trouble and then tell her the truth. Fuck it, I'm taking them out. Is she really more important than your life? I prefer not to put her in a difficult situation, or I can just... Alright, I guess at this point I'm just saying I'm not gonna, rat her out. Let's see what combat's like. Alright, have it your way, Vol says with a hint of disappointment. He casually tosses the knife and twig aside and unsheaths his sword from his belt. Simultaneously, Fury and Bulk reach for their weapons and take their stances. It's 1 against 3. I guess I'm going to prepare for a fight. Okay, Vol moves slowly and carefully to your left. Fury takes his position on your right. Bulk keeps a distance, or a bit of distance, while preparing his bow. Okay, the camera is going to potentially be an issue here. Maybe I just alt-tab and reduce the camera right now. And then I can bring you back up again later, so I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so this is all you're really missing on this side, but you can see my armor now, and my attack, and my defense. I was hoping for a bit of tutorialization on this, but I guess not. Now, we've teched into being some sort of magical character, so I think we are going to be doing some magic stuff. I'm a bit concerned that Bulk has taken the back, which makes me think he's going to be some sort of ranged character. So, can I do magic? No spellbook is equipped. Oh my god, did I have to equip? Oh my god. Hey, I've got a spellbook equipped now, guys. Don't worry about it. So I can use Ray. Choose a target. Oh, I can pick the... I guess it's the back row or the front row. 1 damage per AP. Oh, no, it's actually... This is 1 damage, this is 2 damage, so I can't select the guy at the back, right? Let me try and take out Fury with the lower health, I suppose. Oh, okay, I actually have to click on them. So my attack roll was a 6+2, which is greater than 6, which means a success. So do I just need to... Oh, the defense is 6. Okay. I think I see what's going on here. Did they hit me back as well? No, but I lost a mana. Go for Fury again, I suppose. Then I critically failed, I believe. And I took 5 damage. Okay, that's pretty bad. I mean, I need to knock one of these guys out, right? Oh, is this showing me how... Oh, okay, I see. Sorry, I got slightly confused by them having diamonds as well. I have 3 action points. So I can pick to do this as 3 action points or pick it as a single action, right? Yes, I can. I'm only on 6 health. Can I drink? Oh, I didn't bring a health potion. Okay, well, we might die here. That's fine. Now, I'll use this as 1 action. Nice. Fury is dead. Now, here's the issue. The issue is I only have 6 health left. I guess we all in Vul now. I got another success. They got a miss. I took 1 damage, though. If we can take Vul down, we've got a chance. I left him on 1 again. Ah, I'm on 1 health myself. I need Bulk to not hit me. I guess we're going to find out what happens when you die. Ah, I died. Okay. Okay. I understand now. So we can restart the combat again. I don't know if that's the way it's going to work when the actual game comes out, but it's only a demo right now, so that's fine. I also understand how this works now. How good is this sword, by the way? It requires a lot of strength. I may have fucked up taking the sword, to be honest with you, but hey-ho. Okay, so the defense had no options in it. That may have been a throw. I was kind of assuming I was going to get an option page there, but no option page. We're probably going to do a little die again. Don't mind me. Let me try and take Bulk out this time. I'm going to die, but... Alright, Bulk dead. I still have an action. Going to Fury next. I need a few misses, but I don't think we're going to get enough. Okay, that's fine. I actually understand now what we're doing. I may have got it in a bit over my head as well. Need to equip the spell book? Don't worry, I'll do that. Sadly, that cost me an action as well. Maybe if I can roll things back a little bit, then I can make my life a little bit easier. So, +1 damage per AP. How much does this do? It's 2 damage, so I'm only going to roll 1 AP on this and go for Bulk. Okay, the game lied to me. Or I'm not understanding it quite right. 2+ damage. Whatever. Bulk is dead as well. I slightly overkilled him. We've got lucky with the misses this time as well, so I think this is the time that we're going to do it. I'll roll all 3 into Fury. 1 into Fury. And now we can put everything into Vul. Ah, you don't like it now, Vul, now I know how the game works, do you? Do you, Vul? Okay, we get a victory this time. I get some arrows, a bow, a sword, OH, one-handed, health potion, huge, and another sword, one-handed. Oh, but I'm only gonna have a certain number of imp spots, right? Can I just drink this immediately? How much do I get for this? Oh, +3 health. Yeah, I need it, so I'll take it. And then, I don't know what the values of any of this is, but I'll just grab whatever I can grab. I don't know if I could sell it later. Vul moves slowly and carefully to your left. Fury takes his position on your right, and Bulk keeps a bit of... Oh wait, I'm reading the same thing. I continue. The 3 men fight fairly. They rely too much on their numerical advantage and underestimate you. They also underestimate my power of returning from death. As a result, all 3 men end up on the ground. Bulk and Fury dead. Vul wounded. Vul groans in pain from a deep wound to his stomach, coughing and writhing. He expects you to finish him off. He doesn't beg for mercy or plead. There's not even anger in his eyes. He simply watches you, waiting for the job to be done. I can't risk him coming after me for revenge. I kill him. He can't harm me anymore. I spare him. How pious do you want to be? Honestly, he wronged the queen. I am the queen's right hand, right? Well, maybe I'm like a right toe or something. To me, he's wronged the queen. I kill him. Vol simply closes his eyes, accepts his fate, and joins the others. I hide the bodies in the bushes, leaving the rest to nature. Or do I leave the bodies where they are? I'll hide them. I'll spend the time. You drag the bodies one by one and hide them. Few people spend much time in these parts, so these bodies are likely to remain undiscovered. I was more worried that someone would catch me in the act of moving the bodies, in which case I'd have to go on this murderous spree where eventually I'd kill everyone in the region. Fortunately, didn't happen. Time to hit the road. Okay, so the world map, we're on the mountain pass. Oh, and it requires rations to move. Okay, I see how this works. And I reach a fork. Also, hang on a second. I can come back. As you come down from the mountain pass, the air starts to warm up. Trees now are less denser.
I will do my best to save him, my lord.
The fog thicker. You don't have a map, and even if you had one, the fog would render it almost useless. Holy moly, that is some thick fog. You'll have to rely on your senses to find your way. From Nikki, thank you for the follow, and also thank you for the copy of this game, the key for this game. It is wonderful so far. I'm actually having a great time. I continue forwards. You arrive at the fork in the road, one path curling left and the other to the right. Standing at the very center of the split is a wooden signpost. Beneath it, something dark rests on the ground. It looks like a pile of rocks, but it's hard to make out exactly what it is. We're going to get closer to the sign. Just 1 second, sorry. Okay. It's actually the thing that just interrupted me was the email from you, Nikki, so thank you. You notice that what lies in front of the sign isn't a rock, but a human body. Have I got in a circle? The body is seated with the back leaning against the wooden sign, legs stretched out in front. Its head hangs limply towards the ground. Its clothing stained with dried blood. I run over to check to the body to check if it's alive, or I look around to see if it's a trap. I know it's a bit, bloodthirsty before, but I think if I just saw a human on the ground, I don't think I would immediately assume it's a trap. I should probably be a bit careful because I'm at half health, but I'll check if they're alive. Bending down beside the body, you check for a pulse, but no luck. You realize the figure is a woman, maybe in her 50s, and she must have been dead for maybe 2 or 3 days. Judging by the bite marks on her neck, it seems she was killed by a wild animal. The peculiar aspect is how she's been left here, almost as if deliberately placed. You wonder if it could be the work of Vol and his companions, but that's very unlikely. There might be useful items on her. Wouldn't say no to a health potion right now. I'll search for their belongings and try and find... Oh, I search for anything useful in the belongings. They won't be of use to her anymore anyway. Or I leave her and check what the sign says. No, I'm going to ruffle through her stuff. I want to find some loot. You check the woman's pockets and a small bag on her back. Among your findings are a couple of handy lockpicks, a half-moldy piece of bread, a few bug-infested fruits, and a small note. I'll take the rations, because they seem to be what I need to move around the map. I guess I'll take the lockpicks. Can I just drop something? Yeah. Let me drop this sword, and I'll take the lockpicks. Even though I've got the spell for lockpicks, okay, it turns out the lockpicks could have just gone anywhere. My bad. Whatever. And then we'll read the note. What are you talking about, Amy? The note reads. You've really lost it, woman? What do you think you can do in the mist? Karakin knows what happened to the army here. Or there, even. You turn the note and continue reading. The army's no more. It disappeared, along with our son. We told that fool to stay home and take care of his own life. But he was obsessed with Kai. Kai this, Kai that. Now he's got what he deserved. Don't drag this on any longer. Come back. I don't want to lose you to the mist too. Please? Okay. So this is a husband talking about the wife, and the wife, I guess, has gone out to try and find their... Did it say son? Yeah, or son. So the woman's gone to look for their son, has met some, fate along the way. All right, let's see what the sign says. Oh, okay. That's ominous. On the sign's left side, you can make out the words cloudfishers. The right side, however, is obscured by dust and tree branches. As you extend your hand to clear the sign, a sudden growl from behind startles you, sends shivers down your spine. When you turn around, you come face to face with the murderer of the elderly woman, a leopard, almost as large as a bear. It approaches you slowly and cautiously, keeping a watchful eye on both you and the woman. I freeze and avoid sudden movements. I can do a strength roll and shout at the top of my lungs, wave my arms around in an attempt to scare it off. I can dex roll it. I approach the closest tree with slow steps, and I jump and climb as soon as I get close enough. Listen, I'm not built as a dexterous character, we are not doing that one. Or I can cast a harmless spell and scare it off. Yeah, sure, we'll do our Spellbook of Ray and scare it away. It rhymes, it surely will work. Oh, do I have to... Oh, wait, what do I have to do here? Required any spell. Do I not have mana? No, I do have mana. Or is this not a spell? The Spellbook of Ray. Not counting as a spell to count for this? Or am I missing something? Okay, if I can't do this and I don't see the reason why I can't right now, do I drag it onto it? Nope. And I can't just say to cast spell. I can equip or unequip. It's red so you can't use it. I mean, that's what I'm taking right now, but I don't know why I can't cast my Spellbook of Ray unless I need something, not a spell book, it has to actually say it's a spell. Okay, if that's the case, let's just freeze and avoid sudden movements. It gets closer and closer until there's only a single step between you. You catch a glimpse of your reflection in its large yellow eyes and smell its stinking breath as it hits your face. I still don't believe I can do... Wait, can I do this? No, that's camp. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to keep standing still and hoping for the best. Your heart pounds, sweat pours from your forehead, the surroundings fall silent, birds stop chirping, the mist thickens. Yet, you manage to stay completely still. The leopard lunges forwards. You shut your eyes in fear. It takes you a moment to register that you're still upright. When you cautiously and slowly open your eyes, you find the leopard has passed by and distanced himself, and I watch him go away. Alright, we're very lucky there. A little further away, it turns its head, observing you with an eerie, human-like expression that sends shivers down your spine. Instead of a mid-instinct-driven wild creature, it seems like a thoughtful human being, sizing you up. With that, it vanished into the mist. Now you know what Maya meant about animals. And suddenly I don't feel as bad about murdering those three guys. Maya has done me a great service here. She told me that these creatures are intelligent. I've seen it for myself, therefore she wasn't lying. Therefore, I think she's a good person. I take a moment to catch my breath, and then I check the unreadable part of the sign. Yeah, they're like the Predator, it turns out. The sign reads compass. Well, I'll continue my journey then. So we can head towards Cloudfishers, which we heard about earlier, and I apologise for my idiocy. I can't actually quite remember what Cloudfishers was about. Oh, Cloudfishers was the place that she said she was at, right? And had information about the army. So I guess we'll go to Cloudfishers. As you move on, the forest becomes thinner and gives way to an open landscape. The mist prevents you from seeing very far, but you can make out silhouette of a small village ahead. Cloudfishers, you murmur to yourself. The air is cold and still. The sound of birds in the forest is now replaced by the eerie silence of the mist. You hope that Cloudfishers will be a solution to this silence. I approach the village. Also, can I just camp whenever I want? I assume I have to wait for a moment to say, you can camp. Cloudfishers look smaller than you expected. You see a handful of wooden houses, alongside a large barn and an inn. What really catches your attention are the huge nets lined up around the village, all facing in the same direction. There are barrels placed underneath them. As you approach the nets, murmuring whispers reach your ears. His fate was written long ago. So faint it feels as though the mist is whispering to you, shrouded in pain and sorrow. When you move toward the source of the voice, a silhouette emerges from the mist. An old man sits on a rock, slowly sharpening his sword in his hands. Will he stand tall against his fate? He murmurs in a melodic tone. When what is written comes to pass. It seems like he hasn't sensed your presence. I listened to the song. You know what? Let's listen to the tune. In service of the Queen he rides, the old man continues in his deep voice. Okay, I'll get deeper. Through the mist where the secrets hide, to make what's written true forever. He lifts his sword slightly and gently measures its sharpness with a finger. But the mist wields its own pen, writing dark tales of men. I say hello. Hi. The old man stops singing and turns his gaze towards you. He doesn't seem overly surprised to see a stranger. His eyes are weary, but his shoulders are straight. His dark face is marked with wrinkles, and his short hair is now streaked with white. He jumps from the rock and grass and approaches you. Apologies, I didn't see you, he says, giving your hand a firm shake. I'm Arim. He introduces himself. I don't remember seeing you before. Thanks for checking out the game. From Nikki, thank you for sending me. So far, it's been a blast. It's actually scratching an itch that I really wanted scratching. I'll introduce myself to this man. A Queen's Herald shaking the army, or seeking the army even. Arim scans you from head to toe. The Queen must be desperate. He wears dark green leather armor. Same as the guys before, by the way. I should have been able to cast a spell before. It must be a bug. Okay, that's fair enough. Again, it's it's a pre-access to a demo as well, so there's going to be these small bugs here and there. He wears dark green leather armor covered with thin metal plates on his shoulders and chest. On the left side of his chest is a round medallion engraved with a sword and mist swirling around it. A Knight of the Mists. Anyway, welcome to Cloud Fishers, Herald. Choosing this place as your first stop was the right decision. It's the safest place in the mists. Arim puffs his chest out with pride. What was that song you were singing? What can you tell me about Cloud Fishers or You're a Knight of the Mists? What was this song you were singing? Singing? Arim looks confused. You've just arrived in the mists, and you're starting to hear voices? Oh, that doesn't bode well, does it? We're going a little bit loco. What can you tell me about this place? A small but safe village. You'll learn the details. The sound of a horn rising from the village interrupts Arim's sentence. I heard. He turns his head looking at the village. The mist horn, he explains, turning back to you. It seems there's a dread fog tonight. Okay, what's a dread fog? A fog that cloaks everything in a shroud of darkness. Man, how much foggy can this get? We already said that if we had a map, it would be, worthless because I couldn't read it. And this is even, more foggy still. What are these huge nets around the village? The village is out in the open in plain sight. How is it the safest place? Let's inquire about the nets, because I think this will answer number 2. They are fog catchers, the old man explains. When the fog passes through them, they collect the water droplets in the fog. That's why this place is called Cloud Fishers. Well, I guess we'll inquire, but I think I know why. You don't necessarily need high, thick walls for safety. He grips the hilt of his sword. There are many ways to protect your home, and being inconspicuous is one of them. I see. I'm sure you'll be pleased with your visit. You're a Knight of the Mists? He looks at the medallion on his chest. That's right. Sword's my weapon, mist's my shield. I can't but think about your encounter with Vul. I'm not telling them that I came across other knights as well, searching for someone named Maya. Yeah, I'd better not talk about that encounter for now. It's an honor to meet a loyal knight. The old knight responds with a slight bow of his head. It is service of the loyal knights like us that keeps the mists under the Queen's rule. I'll thank him and proceed towards the village. Herald, Arim says as you're about to leave. When you turn to him, you notice his gaze lost in the void. It takes a few seconds for the life to return to his eyes. Traveling during dread fog is dangerous, he says. You should stay in the village tonight. If you want, you can stay in my room at the inn for the night. Where will you stay? I'm a knight of the mist, Aram says without further explanation. Thanks, I guess. Also, he interrupts again, there's a thief wandering around the village lately. Keep an eye on your belongings. He even stole my dagger. Okay, I nod and enter the village. Journal updated. Is there a journal somewhere if I escape? Ah, there is. Okay, that's really cool, because I always forget things in this, especially if, I come to it from a day to day. Being able to go into the journal and seeing what you've learnt, that's actually really good quality of life stuff. Also got an encyclopedia telling you people, groups, glossary. It's so good. It's so good. Very necessary for me, so again, thank you for adding that. And you can save in here anytime you want, new save. Let's put another one in here just for safety. Oh, I've also got a backpack with Queen's Medallion, journal, 20 coins, bedroll, and 3 lockpicks. So that's where the lockpicks went. Okay. And then I can click that to open it. Okay. I guess I should have clicked on things a bit more. The mist gradually thickens, slowly enveloping cloudfishes and weaving its way through the massive nets. Just beneath the nearby net, a young man is busy with barrels. Beyond him is an inn Aram spoke of. I approach the net. Water drips from the net onto the barrels as the young man hurriedly swaps the full ones with empty ones. He mutters to himself, but you can't make out what he's saying. When he notices you, he says, "The inn's that way," pointing dismissively without even looking at you. Do you need a hand? The young man looks at you, seeming a bit surprised by your offer. Alright, if you could take a barrel over there to the inn, I'd really appreciate it. The barrel reaches up to your waist and is filled to the brim. It looks heavy, but the young man doesn't seem to have any trouble lifting and carrying it. Oh god, a strength roll? I'm not built for this. I tried to shoulder the barrel and carry it to the inn. I think I'm going to break my spine. I tried to lay the barrel on the side and roll it towards the inn. I think we'll take the dex check. I said I'm going to do it. I'm not going to, short him now. Nice, that's a big roll. After making sure the lid is tightly closed, you slowly tip the barrel over. It's quite heavy and rolling it uphill proves to be more challenging than you expected. Once you set the barrel in place, you notice the young man using the same method. Thanks, and I'd probably prefer to drowning dread fog than carry another one. Breathless he asks. Are you a mist stranger? A mist stranger? Not from around here, he clarifies, gesturing towards the mist. From the mists, I mean. How did you know? It's obvious just by looking, he says with a shrug. I'm Hugo. Nice to meet you. He gestures for you to follow. Come on, you must have had a long journey. Let's get you to a room. Alright, we'll go into the inn after Hugo. Well, well, says the bald man inside the inn as he spots Hugo. A record! Finishing your work before he stops mid-sentence when his eyes land on you. Welcome, traveller. I didn't see you there. He gestures towards a chair in the corner. Please have a seat. I sit glancing around the inn. The inn looks clean and well kept. It isn't very large, with only 5 tables neatly arranged in the main room. Against the far wall there's a modest fireplace. On either side of it, windows let in the faint light from outside. The only unusual detail is the pile of weapons stacked near the wall, by the staircase leading upstairs. Wooden spears, crudely forged swords, and an assortment of arrows are heaped together. The smell of cooking onions fills the air, and your stomach grumbles. I had onions today actually, so... Man. Snap. I'm Rick, the bald man introduced himself. His thick grey beard stretches in all directions. I see you've already met my son Hugo. He glances at the young boy with black hair and narrow shoulders. Rick grabs a plate full of food from behind him and sits down on the counter. Take this to your mother, Hugo. I'll attend to our guest. Without protest, Hugo takes the plate and Rick turns back to you. This is the Miss Catcher Inn, he says, tapping the counter with one hand. Nice to meet you, Rick. I'll introduce myself as well. The Queen's Herald! Hugo freezes in the middle of the stairs, a plate in his hand, staring at you in surprise. You're from Gart? Take your mother's food, Hugo. After sending the boy on his way, Rick adds, I must admit, I wasn't expecting to host a Herald today. He tries to hide his curiosity, eyeing you carefully. Are you hungry, Herald? I nod. Rick serves you a plate of food and says, Tell us, Herald, what brings the Queen's Herald to these parts? Hugo hurries downstairs, not wanting to miss the conversation, and looks at you with gleaming eyes. Gart, he says. Could you tell us about Gart? Taking a bite from my food, I say Gart is continuing to grow. Nyantara has eased the tension between the other corners to some extent, and trade continues to thrive. Or I can also take a bite of my food and say, Gart is in the process of recovering. The tension between the corners is greatly restricting Nyantara, and of course, the army's disappearance has caused a significant loss of trust. No, the Queen is strong. I am a pillar of the Queen. I'm glad to hear that, Rick says. The number of loyal people to the Queen has steadily decreased around here, though. Verena is doing her best to prevent that. He serves food for himself and Hugo as well. I assume that's why she sent you here. I'm here for the army. Rick shakes his head as he takes a bite of food. That was my other guess. The onions in the stew don't look very appealing. Honestly, there's not a lot you could do to onions to not make them look appealing, so I think you're okay, Rick. The large carrots and potatoes are swimming in fat, and the meat is barely there. But it's been a long time since you've had a hot, hearty dish, so you eat it gratefully. Honestly, this sounds delicious. You know what? Do you happen to know anything about the army? What can you tell me about Cloudfishers? I point to the weapon stack in the corner. What are those weapons stacked over there, or what's the story of the inn? I think we would immediately ask about the army, right? They passed through the south of here on the way to the 5th corner, but they didn't stop by here, which is a shame. The young people in our village were very hopeful to see the written. He glances at Hugo. To tell you the truth, I was excited to see him too. It's not every day a folk hero comes here. Any rumours? There are so many of them. Rick wipes the food from his beard. Each one of them more absurd than the last. Whether Kai ascended to the throne with his army, or if they became one with the mist and started protecting people. You name it, there's a tale about it. If you ask me, the mist simply swallowed them whole. It happens to everyone who spends too much time in the mist. Okay, anything else? As Rick eats his meal, he pulls something out of his mouth, inspects it briefly, and then sets it aside from the edge of his plate before continuing to speak. I know they didn't stay long in the 5th corner. Word is, the army is set out for the south. My guess is that Kai wanted to meet with Glenn. Hugo, eating his own meal beside him, chuckles. Don't be ridiculous. Why would the written want a meeting with Glenn? I'm sure he wanted to kill him. I'll let them continue. Since Glenn is still alive, Rick says, tapping his temple with a finger. Think before you speak, will you? Hugo glances at you from the corner of his eye before returning to his meal. Man, that put him in his place. Okay. It feels a bit of like a jump to just go, what about Cloudfishers? But let's talk about Cloudfishers. Just a small village minding its own business, the innkeeper explains. Don't let its small, unprotected appearance fool you. It's probably one of the safest places around. It hadn't been attacked by either Mist Dwellers or the Liberated for maybe 30 years now. We're known for the fog catchers you saw outside, those giant nets. We collect water and supply it to the 5th corner and the Larin Monastery. I've also gone Scottish for whatever reason. How's it protected? Without drawing too much attention, Rick says, brushing it off. But you can sense there's more to it than just that. What about the story of the inn as well? We've asked about Cloudfishers. How about where we're sat? Rick sets his empty plate aside and starts wiping the counter with a damp cloth. I wouldn't say it's much of an extraordinary story. It belonged to my mother's cousin, but when his children couldn't take over for various reasons, he took me in. I've been running the place for about 30 years now with my wife and son. Can I ask why your wife eats her meals upstairs and doesn't join us? Rick and Hugo both pause for a moment and look at each other. It seems you've touched on a sensitive subject. She's unwell, Rick summarizes. Though you sense the long story behind the brief explanation, I decide not to press it any further. Do Mist Strangers drop by often? Yes. Since the army disappeared, the number of people coming from the other corners has increased. Families whose children have joined the army, curious explorers eager to unravel the mystery, opportunists trying to capitalize on it. There's been a steady stream of all sorts passing through here for the past few years. I return to other matters. I hope, Rick says, shooting Hugo a stern look, that after me, Hugo will take over from this place and the Mist Catcher will continue to be run by our family. Okay, I'll point at the weapons section in the corner. What are these weapons? Security, Rick explains simply. Then a dark expression falls over his face. Cloudfishers is safe. But when the army disappeared, the whole balance shifted. The Fifth Corner went from being the strongest clan to the most vulnerable. The Mist Dwellers and the Liberated will likely try to take advantage of the situation soon. We'd rather be prepared for such a scenario. Isn't the Fifth Corner's job to protect you? Rick laughs mockingly. Right, but Verena can't do much more than provide a mad and elderly knight. You mean Arim? Yes, our village is madmen. Not just mad, Hugo interjects. He's dangerous too. Yesterday he was harassing the travelling merchants from the Fifth Corner for no reason. He looks at his father, and his sword wasn't in the scabbard. What do you mean by mad? He told me to the thief in the village. Let me inquire about the thief first. Rick shakes his head. Yeah, Aaron's been obsessed with finding that thief lately. I think he still wants to feel useful. Don't you worry about the thief? He hasn't stolen anything important so far, just old things people don't use anymore. That's why we're not taking it seriously for now. But, he continues, if he keeps this up, we'll do what needs to be done. Alright, what do you mean by mad? His mind isn't quite right, Rick explains. He zones out sometimes, yelling at the mist for no reason. He's getting more aggressive by the day. Hugo finishes the plate and says, he's very lonely. He sits all alone in the middle of the mist. I think it's a miracle he hasn't completely lost his mind yet. I return to other matters. He's not just a soldier, Rick says to Hugo and you. He's also an old friend. I've known him since my youth. Whenever someone needed help, he'd be the first to run to their aid. He'd do anything to protect the village. He lets out a troubled sigh. But it looks like it's about to become a problem we'll need to solve soon. Aaron told me I can stay in the room for the night. Of course. His room is the first one on the right upstairs. It's an honor to host the Herald. Tonight's meals are on us as well. Thank you, such kind people. I don't think it's a good idea to leave Adam outside during Dreadfog, Hugo says to his father. Rick shrugs. You know he won't listen to me no matter what I say. I thank them both and retreat to my room. Aaron's room is just big enough to fit a bed and a wardrobe. Next to the bed there's a stack of books piled high and a small window. The room feels like a coffin. Through the window you can see the Dreadfog thickening as night falls, engulfing the entire village. I take a look at the books before we go to bed, and a nice good night bed story. That was completely wrong English, don't worry about it. You sit on the bed and glance over the dust-covered books, all of them are yellowish and worn with age, each one focused on Kai and his achievements. The Wisdom of the Written by Burrito Helmund, The 5 Oaths of the Knights of the Mists by Eamon Yenna. The author's name has been crossed out. The Battle of Dreadfog by Simon of Compass. Okay, we heard of Compass earlier, so it's a place. I'm intrigued by the one where it's been crossed out, so the 5 Oaths of the Knights and Mists by Eamon Yenna. From this day forwards, forever, I will learn the path of the mists. I will always act for the benefit of the people and the greater good. I will uphold justice with my life. I will be generous to those in need. Swords my weapon, the mist my shield. From this day forwards, forever. That's pretty much what Amir said, right, to us at the start, when we entered Cloudfishers. I guess we'll talk about the Wisdom of the Written as well. When Kai the Written suffered his first defeat in the Siege of the Third Corner, nobody could believe it. His followers, who regarded him as invincible, tried to cover up his defeat. When they did, Kai turned to them and said, "Don't you dare do such a thing. Let people see my failures. For if they don't see them, they won't see how I overcame them." Very virtuous. And in the Battle of Dreadfog, when Kai saw Dreadfog, the very thing everyone avoided at all costs, he saw not an obstacle, but a solution. He dared to attempt what even the bravest Knights of the Mist could not. He led an entire army into the Dreadfog. When the Dreadfog lifted, Eamon, the leader of the Knights at the time, saw his enemy not where he'd left him, but on the hill behind his army. He was left speechless, unable to stop the massacre that followed. Okay. And then we'll leave them for some rest. Just as you're about to save the comfort of lying down without rocks digging in your back, for the first time in ages, there's a knock at your door. Hugo pokes his head through the crack. "Sorry," he says, "but can we talk for a moment? I know you're tired, but I won't take too much of your time, I promise." Alright, with an inward sigh, I invite him. Before closing the door quietly, he checks to make sure the hallway is empty. Then he sits down on the bed right next to you. The dread fog has now almost reached its final form, cloaking the village in darkness. The room is lit only by a single candle. I couldn't say this in front of my father. I was going to tell you tomorrow, but I can't wait. He rubs his hands together to warm them. I'm going to Gart, he declares, as if seeking your approval. But I need help. Your help, I mean. Let me guess, your father does not approve of this? We'll go with that immediately. My father won't approve of anything that doesn't involve me hauling barrels and tending to the inn all day, the young man grumbles, unintentionally raising his voice. But I couldn't care less about barrels in this inn. He exhales deeply. I know I can do better, but I need your help, and I swear I'll make it worth your while. Well, we are 30 coins down, so, you know. What kind of help do you want? There's a group of merchants from the fifth corner, the young man explains, leaning in slightly. Their camp is 20-minute walk from here to the north. They're heading to Gart, and they agreed to take me along if I pay them. I hope this is not the 3 people I gave the old raid to. And you want me to get the money for you? No, I have some money, or at least part of it. I'll manage the rest somehow, but that's not all they want, he says, clearing his throat before continuing. They also want Blore and enough provisions for the journey. Alright, I'll bite. Blore, a rare and precious ore that when burned emits an orange light strong enough to pierce even the thickest fog. Blore? Oh, how did you get the money? Blore! Yes, I forgot you're a mist stranger, he says, leaning in slightly. It's meant to be some kind, I guess. It's some kind of ore. When burned, it emits a light that cuts through the mist. An absolute necessity for travelling around here. And as you might guess, it's highly valuable. How did you get the money? Don't worry about that, he says dismissively. Okay, he may have robbed his family, but I guess that's not for me to judge. Let's say I agree. Where can I find Blore? I don't know either. There used to be an active Blore mine somewhere in the south, but I have no idea what state it's in now. I'm sure it's sold in Fifth Corner, but then you have to pay for it. And in return? In return, Hugo says, looking into your eyes and with shining wands, I'll tell you about my meeting with the army, and he pauses before continuing, I'll give you a valuable necklace. Your meeting with the army? I thought the army didn't stop by here. That's true, but it didn't stop me from sneaking away to go see them. So do we have a deal? Hugo's eyes shine bright in the candle, illuminating the room. The room even. He really wants your help, but you can guess what Rick might think about this. What about your father? Why do you want to go to Gart? I'll see what I can do, but no promises. Oh, sorry, Hugo, I've not got time for this. What about your father? He cares about nothing beyond this inn in the village. I understand why. Everyone treats him like a leader. Whenever someone in the village has a problem, they come to him, and he likes that. He pauses. He's valued here and has a life. But me, I know I can do more than just deal with barrels all day. I'm more than what I appear to be. But I don't think I can prove that to my father. I know there's more to me than just carrying barrels. He sounds like he's trying to convince himself, not you. Why do you want to go to Gart? You know what? I'm not even going to inquire about that. I think my character would be, I need the intel. I am, the Queen's Pillar and all that. So I would probably do this. Thank you so much, Andalono. Hugo can barely contain his joy and almost moves to hug you, but he holds himself back. Instead, he places his hand on your shoulder in gratitude. I'll make it worth your while, I promise. He pauses just before leaving the room as something occurs to him. Oh, I probably don't need to tell you this, but don't mention any of this to my father. Otherwise, I'll be stuck here for the rest of my life. I watch Hugo leave and then get some rest. Alright, we have a quest, other than the main quest. Faint noises from the downstairs pull you out of your sleep. Unsure if they are part of a dream, you try to drift back into slumber, yet the subtle sounds persist. You open your eyes. The dim light of the burning candle illuminates the room, and the pitch-black void outside confirms that only a few hours have passed. Getting up, you walk to the window and peer into the endless darkness. A faint glimmer emerges near the inn's entrance. Is someone stepping outside? Or is the mist playing tricks on you. You watch the light as it gradually disappears into the Dreadfog's consuming shroud. You wait for it to return, but you're unable to fight the sleep. You stumble back to bed, surrendering to the pull of exhaustion. Oh, I got a full heal there, and full mana. My mana got restored, basically. Good to know. So you need a full rest, basically, to get everything back. Once again, sounds pull you from a deep sleep. This time, it's the raised voices from outside. You open your eyes to a bright room. The dread fog is lifted, replaced by the sun. Don't you dare lie to me, boy, a deep gruff voice bellows from outside. Should I trust my own eyes or your words? I look out the window. A crowd is gathered, all watching the front of the inn, with wide eyes following their gaze. You spot Arim. He's holding a sword. I saw you, he shouts at Hugo, who barely reaches Arim's chest. You've been sneaking around in the dread fog. You stole my dagger. It was you, thief. I didn't steal your dagger or anything, Hugo retorts in his trembling, boyish voice. Arim charges towards the boy. Hugo tries to stand firm before the knight, but the impact causes him to lose his balance and fall. The sword rises into the air. Arim, stop or I just watch. Arim, stop. Don't kill this boy. He has the information I need. Arim lifts his rage-contorted face, searching for the source of the shout. At that moment, the inn's door bursts open with a loud bang, and Rick storms out. Arim! He yells with a voice a mix of anger and fear. What are you doing? Get a hold of yourself! Arim freezes, his sword still raised. For a moment, he stares at his hand, as if it doesn't belong to him. Then he shifts his gaze to Hugo, lying before him with fear in his eyes. He lowers his sword. He starts to say but can't finish. Instead, he turns and walks away. I get ready to go downstairs. The crowd is already dispersed. Some are eating breakfast inside the inn. Rick is busying himself at the counter. When he sees you coming down the stairs, he forces a smile. Good morning, he says. I guess the chaos this morning woke you up. I hope you slept well. What was that chaos about? Arim, Rick says, as if that explains everything. He claims he saw Hugo outside during the night. I think I saw someone too, alright, listen. I'm going to say I think I saw someone. I'm not going to say I think it was him, but I saw someone. Yeah, it's probably Arim you saw, Rick says. Hugo, no matter how fog-brained he might be, he knows better than to step outside during the dread fog. Rick lets out a deep, troubled sigh. Witnessing an old friend slowly change and lose himself. It's painful, he says, rubbing his bald head. And it's not for the first time I've experienced something like this. Anyway, he continues, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. He sets his breakfast plate in front of you. My problem isn't just Arim, unfortunately, and maybe the Herald can help me. Alright, second quest. I'm hoping this quest ties into the first one and says, I want my boy to go to guard. Then, chef kiss, I know what to do. What do you mean it's not the first time? My wife, Ellie, Rick says, his eyes fixed on the counter. She lost her memory, slowly, day by day. He pauses. Now, most days, she doesn't even remember who I am. Anyway, I'd rather not talk about it at this moment. Alright, the Herald is listening. The problem's Hugo, Rick explains. He's gone mad with the idea of going to Gart. Awkward. I'm sure he's told you there's a group of merchants heading to Gart, a bit to the north. He wants to join them. Rick looks at you in the eyes. I need you to stop him. He actually wants my help. Why can't you stop him? Why don't you want him to go? Or, let's say I agree. How can I stop him? Okay, I'll buy it. Why don't you want him to go? Rick looks at you if the answer is obvious. Because I don't want to lose him. He's still just a child. He doesn't know the dangers of the mists. I'm sure when you look at him, you see that too. He wouldn't survive out there. So why can't you stop him? If you only knew how many times I've tried, he says helplessly. But all he cares about is running away. He doesn't understand that there are countless dangers out there. He thinks so high of himself because he's never experienced the dangers of the outside world. He grew up in the safety of the village under the protection that I provide. A brief flash of hatred flickers into Rick's eyes. I think the mist is affecting you too a bit, Rick. Let's say I agree. How would I stop him? I don't know either. Maybe you can try talking to the merchants. Alright, I'll think about it. Thank you, Herald. I'll make sure to repay your help. With that, Rick returns to his work, leaving you to finish your breakfast. Once done, you step out of Mistcatcher. The village is calm. Your eyes catch sight of a few children chasing each other with sticks, a shepherd tending to some sheep, and people carrying sacks full of various goods. The mist, as always, lingers, but it's thin for now. Okay, so at some point I'm gonna have to, basically befriend one of these guys, and he'll burn my bridges with the other one. And I'm not gonna lie, Rick, I'm going to go with the guy that's gonna give me information about the army, so... We're gonna need to find... Pardon me, these merchants, and I'm also gonna need to find Blore. I don't think I'll go back inside the inn, check the nets, look for Arim, leave Cloud. I guess we'll check the nets. You find Hugo leaning against the barrels placed beneath the nets, idly watching his surroundings. When he sees you, he offers a slight smile. "Hello, Andelono," he says. "I saw you and Arim arguing. About the thing you asked me, do you just sit around all day, or see around? Actually, let's inquire about what he does during the day." Hugo looks at you with some boredom. "Did my father send you? Tell him I'm dealing with the barrels, alright?" "Alright, I saw you arguing." "Arguing?" Hugo looks at you. "That madman nearly killed me, and in front of everyone." He shakes his head. "Can you imagine dying like that? Spending 20 years hauling barrels around the village, only to have some lunatic come and end your life? I heard you shouting, by the way. Thank you." "I saw someone in the Dreadfog at night. Was it you?" "No, of course not. Are you mad? Why would I go outside in the Dreadfog?" He seems to be telling the truth, but it's hard to be certain. We don't need to talk about the things you asked me because I don't have any of the resources, so see you around, Hugo. I guess we should talk to Arim as well before we leave. You find Arim near the entrance of the village, sitting on a rock, gazing at the mountains. As you approach, you hear him muttering to himself the 5 oaths of the Kingdom of the Mists. "I will uphold justice," he says softly. "I will be generous to those in need. From this day forward, forever. I greet the night." Arim acknowledges your greeting with a nod. It's clear from his eyes that he hasn't slept all night. "Thank you again for sharing the room with me." Arim nods with appreciation. "My pleasure, Herald. This is my oath. I will be generous to those in need," he says, reminding you of the Knights of the Mist oaths. I saw you and... I guess I'll go there. I saw you and Hugo arguing. Arim averts his gaze, avoiding the eye contact. "Yes, I saw him wandering outside during the Dreadfog. That brat is up to something. I just haven't figured out what." Without meeting your eyes, he tilts his head slightly in your direction. My actions were wrong. I apologize." "Are you sure it was Hugo?" "Well, I don't think I'm the one you should be apologizing to. Let's go with that one." "You speak the truth, Herald," he says, turning his head toward the mist-covered mountains. "I'll be sure to deliver my apologies to those who need to hear them." "Are you sure it was Hugo, though?" "It was him," Arim says as if trying to convince himself. "I saw him." "Alright, back to the other issues." "I know what the others think of me," Arim adds, "but I swore to protect those in need of me. This village is my responsibility. I will always act for the benefit of the people and the greater good," he says, invoking one of the oaths of the Knights of the Mist. "See you later, Arim, you loony dude. And I think it's time to leave Cloud Fishers." Oh, so I can go further north. That's where the merchants are, right? I feel let's go see these merchants. How many rations do I have, by the way? I have 10. And there was nowhere there for me to shop, I believe, so... but the merchants probably want to do some deals, right? Caravan. Sounds good. The Caravan of Gart. Oh, I could camp here. Okay, good to know. You climb the hill north of Cloud Fishers, passing down the pale green grass beneath your boots. The day is still fresh and the air is crisp. Even the smallest breath fills your lungs completely. As the sparse trees rustle gently in the wind, you reach the hilltop and spot the merchant caravan Hugo mentioned. There are 4 wooden wagons, each hitched to a pair of horses. Okay, there are people sitting inside and around the wagons. It's not hard to distinguish the merchants from the passengers. Their fine leather garments set them out from the ragged cloth worn by the others. You only count 3 merchants among them. I approach. Small children dart around the wagons, laughing as they play, but the moment they see you, fear flickers into their eyes, and they run their mothers. When their mother notices you, she gently... Mothers. I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. Mothers. I don't even know what I'm saying. They run to their mothers, funnily enough, not mothers. When their mother notices you, she gently touches the shoulder of the short woman beside her, nodding in your direction. The short woman slowly turns to face you. After thanking the mother, she sets aside whatever task she was tending to and steps forward to greet you. I greet the woman. May the throne light protect your path, traveller. The short woman says in a raspy voice. Her long blonde hair is woven into a thick braid that drapes over her shoulder down to her chest. I am Arable, she introduced herself, the merchant in charge of this caravan. And judging by her finely crafted leather attire, adorned with small, intricately sewn beads, she's quite wealthy. We're heading to Gart. If that's your destination and you have coin, there's room for one more in our wagons. Though at a glance, it certainly doesn't seem like there's any room at all. I point to the wagons, doesn't like there's any room. Tell me about your caravan, tell me about yourself. I want to talk about Hugo, or do you sell anything? I want to talk about Hugo first. That is young scrawny boy, she asks. He comes by every hour to make sure we're still here, begging us not to leave without him. May I ask you to refuse to take him? Whoa, hang on a minute, I do want to do this, but it's my only option. Arabelle's surprised by your offer. Why would I refuse, she says. If he pays, he's free to join us, just like everyone else. He's too young and doesn't know what he wants. His father doesn't want him to go. Are you really going to take advantage of a child's dreams and take him away from his family for a little more money? Oh, I guess we're going for that option because I don't want to pick the other two because I don't want to, kill the option of doing this. Don't try to manipulate me with sympathy, Arabelle says. You're talking like the boy's 5 years old. He's an adult. If he pays, he can come with us, unless I pay you more. 150 coins and 10 pieces of blah, Arabelle offers without hesitation. The same price I charged the boy. Isn't 150 coins a bit low for such a long journey? True, Arabelle acknowledges. That's why we don't turn our customers away, she smiles. Alright, I guess I'll consider it. I don't think too much. We won't be here for long. Listen, it's not, do you sell anything? Will you buy anything? Because I've got stuff I would like to sell. Do you sell anything? Wait, I can sell? Yes, I can sell. Hang on a minute. This is huge. Don't need these arrows. Or this sword. Or the bow. I'm going to keep Maria's sword because you never know. And that will do for now. What was in the buy department though? The Amulet of Life. Can I see what that thing does? I mean, it sounds pretty important for 30 gold. Also a fishing rod. Oh, we have to get the fishing rod, right? Fishing rod me? I'm intrigued by the Amulet of Life. It's a demo. Let's see what it is. And I have 17 coins left. Give me une health potion, please. And nice doing business with you. Okay, so what does this do? Increases your max health by 10. That seems fairly big. 25 health, but you don't get the actual 10 health immediately. Okay. I'm okay with that. Still a good deal. I won't burn the health potion just yet, though. I'll sit on this. I'll ruminate on this, and hopefully we'll get a long rest. Tell me about the caravan. Arabelle shifts her weight from one foot to the other, idly playing with her braid. We set out from the 5th corner, heading to Gart. It's a long and dangerous road, but we guarantee a safe and comfortable journey. This is probably my 50th time making the trip, she adds. And with each journey, our number of customers grows. How exactly do you ensure the safety? There's no soldiers or weapons. Well, there are now, I just sold them to them. What drives people to go to Gart? I came from Gart. I don't recall seeing a caravan arriving from the mist. How long will you be here? Ooh, let's take the spicy option. Arabelle tries to hide her surprise. I already knew when I saw you, she lies. I can tell by the way Gartians look. You wouldn't have seen it. We're not going to the city centre. We dropped the travellers off at a farm south of the Eastern Gate, she adds. You get the feeling she's lying. How do you ensure their safety as well? Don't let her appearance fool you, Arabelle says. She gestures towards the other merchants with a flick of her finger. My 2 colleagues can wield a sword when needed. She shrugs, and I'm not defenseless either. 3 merchants guarding the whole caravan? Arabelle shrugs, as if not understanding why you're confused. More guards means fewer customers, she says, and less money. As I've said, I've travelled this road many times. 3 people who know their trade are more than enough. How long are you going to be here for? Not for long, Arable says with a raspy voice. We've set up camp here for a few days to gather what we need from Cloud Fishers. We'll be on the road again soon. Why don't you stay in the village? There aren't enough beds for everyone in the inn. Also, she pauses. I have a feeling the innkeeper doesn't like me very much. What makes you think that? No reason, the woman says. It's just a feeling. Honestly, I don't like him either. There's something wrong with him. I can tell you that. I don't know what it is, she adds. Alright, I'm not really intrigued at what pushes people to go to Gart. It's the big city, right? That's all. What else is on your mind? I point to the wagon. Doesn't look like there's any room. Arable offers a slight smile. We'll find a place for you. Don't worry. As long as I pay, you think to yourself. Alright, see you later. Oh, and there's nowhere further north. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think they're up to no good. I kind of want to tell the boy, listen, don't give up on your dream, but not with these guys. They are... There's more than meets the eye, basically. I'm actually going to enter immediately. About the things you asked me. Yes? He looks at you with hopeful eyes. Did you find what I asked for? Not yet. Then why give me hope? Alright, see you around, Hugo. You're going to get, like, spirited away by these witches or whatever they are. See you later. How many rations do I have? I've only got 8 rations. Were the rations for sale? Because I probably should have bought some. Oh well. Who needs to eat when you have a fishing rod? I will just simply fish for food. I just need to find a lake. As the sun begins to set, the colours of the throne grow more vivid and distinct. While you waver between setting up camp for the night or pressing on, the silhouettes of several buildings emerge from behind the veil of mist. Must be compass, you think to yourself. I can continue forwards. Is there a clock, by the way? Is there an internal clock that I should be aware of? Because I don't want to be on the roads at, like, you know, night. Friendly save reminder? Good idea. Alright, we'll continue on. The mist thickens as you move forwards, its colour growing darker with each step. Massive fires lit at the settlement pierce through the mist, creating scattered yellow patches in the haze. When you get close enough, you realise these are not just ordinary flames. Their colours are much deeper orange, and their movement patterns resemble the motion of mist, rather than normal flames. They look like orange mist pushing against the dark mist. Okay, I guess I'll enter the village. At Compass, you're greeted by chaos. People are running back and forth in haste and panic. The sound of strange fires is drowned out by the shouts and screams. You notice barrels, weapons, and makeshift walls being carried from place to place. As you move through the turmoil, no one seems to notice you. A group of young people practicing with their swords catches your attention. The way they grip their weapons show they're very experienced. This is likely the first time they've ever seen, or held a blade even, sorry. At the very center of the village stands a statue. It depicts a human figure with its back turned towards you. To your right, you notice a crowd gathered in front of a 2-story wooden building, all shouting. A woman is desperately facing the crowd, standing at the forefront of the building. I approach. They won't attack during the dread fog, the woman shouts at the crowd, though her words do little to cut through the noise. The brown-skinned woman has cropped, wavy grey hair. Her sharp features give her the appearance of someone in her 40s. We have enough blow, she shouts again. No one can touch us. Nobody seems to listen to her. That's enough, she finally snaps. Silence falls. Either disperse now and get back to your work, she says, raising her index finger in a warning gesture, or I'll deal with you myself before the soldiers get the chance. I watch as the crowd disperses unhappily. You stand still as the crowd disperses around you. The woman notices you and studies you as if trying to figure out, who are you? Who are you? I haven't seen you before. Her tone is tense. I introduce myself. When they hear the word Herald, the people around you pause in surprise and look at you. A moment later, they glance nervously at the woman and then return to their tasks. The woman tries to hide her surprise but fails. The Queen's Herald? Here? She looks you up and down. And at a time like this? She gestures for you to come inside. Come, let's talk inside. I follow her. The building, as neglected inside as it is on the outside, was once an inn. Now, all that remains are dusty tables and chairs piled into the corners. The counter stands empty and the floors are filthy. The windows grimy enough to make curtains unnecessary, muffle almost all the noise from outside. In the centre of the inn, people sit in a rough circle of chairs, deep in discussion. They haven't noticed you or the woman yet. I'm Agnes, the woman introduced herself. I'm the mayor of Compass. She extends a hand and, drawing your attention from the group to herself. Did Quan send you? Quan? No, I was just passing by, or I'm looking for the army. I'll say no, I'm looking for the army. I'm a one-track thought process. Agnes grips your hand firmly, then you're in the wrong place. But it's good that you've come. You might still be of use to us. She turns her head towards the group who are still in discussion. Come, let me introduce you to these poor souls. I follow her, or I'd rather not be involved. I guess we'll follow her. We need to find information, right? Agnes gestures to an empty chair among the circle for you to sit, and steps into the middle, interrupting the group's discussion. The 4 people in the group turn their eyes towards you, then back to Agnes, expecting an explanation. Apologies for interrupting your debate, Agnes says, pulling a small pipe from her pocket and packing it with tobacco. Hang on a second. Allow me to introduce our guests. Andalono, the Queen's Herald, here to help us. The group shifts their attention towards you. The Queen's Herald? A young man from the group interjects before you finish. You're from Guard then? Yes, but I'm not here to help you, I'm just looking for the army. A young man gives you a startled and peculiar look. Even so, Agnes says Agnes says to you as she sits down, helping us might aid you in your mission as well. No, Agnes, another voice cuts in. An older man with unusually long white hair and a beard glances at you sideways. Are we really going to involve a stranger in our problems like this? What's going on here? What do the crowds want? Yeah, what's going on? There's something going on, I need to know. Our lives are being threatened, Agnes explains, exhaling a plume even, of smoke from her pipe. Unjustly so, as you might expect, she leans forward, smirking faintly. And out here, there's no queen to defend our rights. So, will the Herald stand up for us instead? Depends. If you truly need my help, and if I can be of assistance, then of course I will. Or, I'd rather not be involved, but let me hear the details first. I feel like it's the last option, so I'll go for it. To be honest with you, I want to find this army and get back to my queen, but let me hear the details. Agnes turns to the young man who spoke earlier. Eddie, go ahead and explain. The promised soldiers of the mist, Eddie explains. The young man appears to be in his 20s and has brown hair gathered in a small tuft atop his head. His thin beard and eyes match the colour of his hair. They're claiming we haven't paid our taxes, but we have. They're now trying to force us to pay again. Who are the soldiers of the mist? Or why did they claim they haven't paid? I mean, we know who they are. We've murdered 3 of them. That puny tax collector disappeared. That's why Agnes says. She wipes her nose with her arm and leans back and crosses her leg. She took our money and vanished, and now we're the ones at fault. Disappearing seems to be the trend around here. The mist determines your path, she says. Oh, sorry, says the white-haired man. Even if it's a dead end. What did the crowd want, or what kind of help do you need? What was the crowd about? They wanted me to reassure them that everything would be alright. Agnes glances sideways at the others. Unfortunately, that's something I can't offer right now. What kind of help do you need? Finding that tax collector would be quite helpful, Eddie says. Agnes lets out a deep breath and looks at Eddie. I do love the innocence of youth, she says. Then she turns to you. Only Karakin would know where that tax collector is, and he's not here, so I don't bother looking. She leans forwards. We need weapons, a lot of them. Eddie opens his mouth, as if to interrupt, but Agnes raises her hand, silencing him. Adults are speaking, Eddie. Oh my god! Put him in his place! Take that, Eddie. You don't really mean to fight the Soldiers of the Mist, do you? Exactly what I mean, Agnes says. I'm old. I've seen enough tyranny from those so-called leaders. I'd rather die defending myself than give Glenn a single coin. What about us, Agnes? Eddie asks. What if we don't want to throw our lives away like that? Agnes turns to the other 2 people in the room. What do you think, Oswin and Thom? I listen to Oswin and Thom. I want to show them that they can't easily exploit us, says the white-haired man whose name you learned was Oswin. Thom, the broad-shouldered, stern-faced black man who hasn't spoken until now, says in a deep voice, agreed. Let's say I find your weapons, what do I get in return? Or, I've seen people practicing swords outside, they didn't look like fighters to me. Because they're not. Eddie tries to join the discussion again, but is silenced by Agnes once more. Eddie, despite his youth, is as skilled with the sword as any of the Soldiers of the Mist, Agnes says. He shares his experience with the others, and that's my problem anyway, so don't worry about it. Alright, let's say I find your weapons, what do I get in return? Our deepest gratitude, Agnes says with a sly grin. It may not mean much to you right now, but having friends in the Mist, it's important. And money, of course, she adds. Alright, tell me the story from the beginning and I'll think about it. Let me tell it, Eddie asks the permission from Agnes. She gives him a slight nod. His name's Verdon, Eddie begins. He comes every 3 months to collect taxes, either in coin or blaw. He's not exactly a friendly man. Agnes cuts in with a wicked grin. He means the bastard's a pimp. Eddie clears his throat and continues. Glenn has been raising taxes constantly for the past 2 years. Every time Verdon comes, he demands more money from us. What is blaw? I know what blaw is. Why is he raising taxes? Or this Verdon, how does he look like? I'd probably say for this, in terms of, like, the sentence structure, by the way, I'd probably say, what does he look like, rather than how. Reads kind of a bit weird, but, you know what, let's see, how do you look like, Verdon? Pale white skin, bald, bulgy eyes, Eddie describes him. He has a fondness for dressing fancy, Agnes adds. A belt studded with blaw stones, silver bracelets. Alright, why is he raising taxes? Because why wouldn't he? Agnes says. A tiny, helpless village with no military power? How could he resist exploiting it? Alright, I'll let him continue. Last time Verdon came, he demanded twice the usual tax, Eddie continues. Of course we refused at first, so he shouted, threatened us, and then stormed out the village. Then he returned with a few soldiers of the Mist. We knew this would happen, so we had already gathered the rest of the tax and paid him. He took the payment and left us alone. And then he disappeared. A few days later, other soldiers of the Mist came asking where Verdon was. They searched the entire village, turned everything upside down, Eddie says. I continue listening. And now, Eddie says, letting out a deep breath before continuing, they're demanding payment again. We refused. They gave us a few days. If we don't pay within that time, they're threatening to ransack the village. How many of them are there? 7 of them, Oswin says. It may not sound like much, but it's Knights of the Mist, and they're not to be underestimated. I'm sure they've already called for reinforcements, Agnes adds. Then she turns to you. Things are dire. If you can see Herald, what do you say? Will you help this desperate and pitiful village? Oh, I really don't have time for this, but, you know, I think the Queen wouldn't be accepting this as well. If I come back and go, you know, I found your army for you, but I've let this village compass fall to ruin, she'd probably be a bit peeved, so I'll see what I can do. Perfect, Agnes says, clapping her hands together. Eddie, keep training people with the sword. Oswin, make sure no one's screaming and shouting in front of my building again. Thom, continue tending to everyone's need. Agnes turns to you. There's a dread fog tonight, Herald. You can't travel. You can stay in one of the rooms upstairs. They're not in the best shape, so my apologies. I'm going to question it, but we've already seen the dread fog. I just want to see if they add any more info on it. And also, how do they know it's tonight? Agnes stands up and walks towards one of the inn's curtain-covered windows. When she opens the curtain, you see a thick, dark fog surrounding the outside, so dense that even a step ahead is hidden from view. Sometimes even blow wouldn't be enough to disperse the dread fog. Agnes explains, watching the waves of black fog outside the window. I say it's nice to meet them all and look for the room upstairs. As you stand up to leave the group, you notice Eddie looking at you as though he wants to say something. The young man seems to be holding something back, too hesitant to speak. Climbing the stairs and settling into the room upstairs, you can hear the group downstairs arguing amongst themselves. Although you can't make out the exact words, you can tell Eddie is against the idea of fighting and is trying to convince Agnes. Eddie's right, I think to myself. They don't stand a chance against the soldiers. Or Agnes is right. I think to myself, if they don't fight back, they will continue to be oppressed. I mean, they're both right at the end of the day. It's just whether or not you throw your lives away, but at the same time, Agnes is right, because if you're just getting taxed to high heaven and you're not actually living a life anymore, then, you know, what are you meant to do? I think I would go Eddie's right here, though. I think isn't there something else we can do, is my pathway. For now, you decide to put off the problem until tomorrow. In the room you're in, there are 2 beds separated by a small table in the middle. The room feels unused, covered in dust. On the wall where the bed leans against, there's a window. The dread fog outside is making it difficult to illuminate the room. So you light the candle on the table. I get into my bed and try to sleep. Okay, folks, I'm going to have to call it there for this episode. I don't know if From Nikki's still in the chat right now. Do you know how far I'm through the demo right now? Either way, this is the game of Herald of the Mists. The demo is coming out on the 21st, so from when I'm recording this, it's 2 days' time. For you, maybe a day's time. I'm about 1 hour away from finishing it. I might come back then and finish off the demo, because I'm really enjoying it. It is really scratching an itch of these text-driven, like, fantasy games. And I really like the world building in the game, so perhaps I'll come back and do the other hour I've got remaining. And then all I have to do is look forward to when the game eventually releases. For YouTube, that'll do it here. Thank you for watching it, and I'll see you again in the next part then. Goodbye.